Welcome to the Rickonomics Brief. Today's topic and report is called Technical Skill is Survival. Connections are Leverage. Brought to you by the Institution of the Americas for Strategic Business Intelligence. I'm your host, analyst, and advisor, Rick Alonso. Disclaimer. This is an unclassified brief for educational purposes only. This episode discusses career mobility, professional networks, technical skill, and personal leverage. It is not career advice for a specific individual or a guarantee of professional outcomes. The purpose is to explain why technical skill helps people remain employable, while relationships often determine how much mobility and optionality they can build beyond their employments. This episode is adapted from the Institution of America's report, Technical Skill is Survival, Connections are Leverage. Bottom line up front, executive summary. Technical skill helps a person survive in the labor market. It creates credibility, employability, and the ability to perform the work. Connections create a different kind of value. They increase access to information, opportunity, referrals, protection, and alternatives. The strongest position is not skill alone or relationships alone. It is the combination of capability and access. Skill gives people a reason to trust you. Connections determine how far that trust can travel. Now let's dive into it. This is the Rickonomics Brief, brought to you by Institution of the Americas for Strategic Business Intelligence. I'm Rick Alonso. Today's brief examines the difference between technical skill and professional leverage. Most people are taught to build technical ability, go to school, earn the credential, learn the trade, master the profession, become reliable enough to get hired, and competent enough to stay employed. That advice has its value. A doctor, an analyst, engineer, contractor, operator, or business owner needs technical skill. Without competence, there's no credibility. The problem begins when the technical skill becomes the whole strategy. A person can be good at work and still have limited mobility. They can hold a salary, build experience, and remain useful inside an organization, while still depending too heavily on one employer, one manager, one client, or one path. That is the difference between survival and leverage. Skill can help someone stay employed. Leverage gives that person options, and there is freedom in having options. Skill and its limits. Technical skill creates the baseline. It tells the market what a person can do. It gives employers, clients, and peers a reason to trust the work. But skill often operates inside a structure controlled by someone else. The employer defines the role. The manager controls the evaluation, and the institution controls the promotion path. The client controls the contract. A skilled person can perform well inside the system and still remain exposed to the decisions they do not control. A company can restructure, and a manager can change, and a promotion can stall. A contract can end, and an industry can slow. When that happens, technical skill still matters, but it may not be enough. A person also needs routes to new information, new opportunities, and new decision makers. That is where connections change the picture. Connections as access. Connections are often misunderstood as social activity. In a professional context, they are better understood as access. A strong network helps a person hear about opportunities earlier, understand risks sooner, and move with more options when the conditions change. It can create referrals, introductions, reputation transfer, and protection from being trapped inside one institution's limits. This does not mean relationships replace competence, although we've seen cases. That is the wrong reading. The stronger point is that competence needs a route to move through. If the right people do not know what someone can do, the skill remains trapped inside the current environment. The network gives skill more places to land. That's why connections matter. They do not create value from nothing. They help the existing value travel. The link diagram. A useful way to see this is the link diagram. In intelligence work, a link diagram shows how people connect to other people, institutions, influence points, and sources of power. Applied to career development or business development, it shows a person's real position inside a professional system. The question is not only, what can I do? The question is also, who knows what I can do, who trusts it, and who can connect it to opportunity? A person may have strong technical ability, but a weak link diagram. That person may be useful, but isolated. Another person may moderate technical ability, but a strong link diagram. That person may have access to sponsors, clients, decision makers, capital, and alternate pathways. The strongest position is both. Technical competence creates credibility. Connections create reach. Together, they create leverage. Visibility and opportunity. Organizations do not reward skill in isolation. They reward value that is visible, trusted, and connected to decision making. A professional can perform well and still be overlooked if the work remains hidden. A business owner can offer real value and still struggle if the right clients, partners, or referral sources never see it. This is not a personality contest, it's a visibility problem. Relationships help convert competence into movement. They make it easier for work to be seen, tested, recommended, and carried into new rooms. That matters because opportunity rarely moves through public channels alone, and it often moves through trust. Someone hears about a role before it's posted. Someone refers a vendor before the formal search begins. Someone warns a colleague before a risk becomes visible. Someone opens a door because the relationship already exists. Those are practical advantages. They're not abstract networking benefits. They're operating advantages inside a real market. Choosing the circle. There is also a personal side to this. The people around a person shape what they hear, what they think is possible, and what opportunities they recognize. A professional circle can raise standards, expose someone to better information, and create a wider view of available paths. Family may provide identity and emotional connection, but a professional circle shapes exposure, expectations, and access. That's why the phrase, love your family, but choose your circle, carries strategic weights. It is not about abandoning anybody, it's about understanding influence. The people closest to a person affect the decisions they normalize. If the circle thinks only in the terms of survival, options may feel limited. If the circle includes people who build, invest, refer, advise, hire, and take disciplined risks, the decision environment changes. The circle affects the ceiling. And the phrase, you are the 5 people who you're close to, becomes a truer reality. Relevance for analysts and business owners. For analysts, relationships matter because information moves through people. Sources, mentors, editors, clients, operators, and decision makers all shape the quality and usefulness of the work. Technical knowledge matters, but it becomes more valuable when it's connected to people who can test it, challenge it, use it, or act on it. For business owners, the same logic applies. A business does not grow only because the product is good. It grows through trust, referrals, vendors, lenders, customers, advisors, and local influence. A strong network creates resilience. When one path closes, another one may open. When one deal slows, another relationship may create movement. And when one institution fails, another may provide a bridge. The connections don't only serve for decoration. They're part of the operating infrastructure. Analyst comment. This brief should not be read as an argument that connections matter more than skill. That would just weaken the point. The stronger judgment is that technical skill creates the baseline, while connections determine leverage above that baseline. A serious professional should build both assets at the same time, capability and access. Capability earns credibility. Access creates options. Going to a university to build your skills and not taking advantage of the relationship environment is missing half the movie. The person who has both is harder to trap, it's easier to recommend, and is better positioned to move when the conditions change. For Institution of the Americas, the link diagram is a useful bridge. It turns networking from vague social activity into an operational map. A person is not simply meeting people, they're building routes to information, opportunity, influence, and resilience. 3 things close. Condition. Technical skill creates employability, but employability alone does not create leverage. Next action. Map your link diagram. Identify which relationship creates information, opportunity, protection, and alternatives. Owner. The individual professional, business owner, or analyst responsible for their own career mobility. In closing, this has been the Rickonomics Brief, brought to you by the Institution of the Americas for Strategic Business Intelligence. I am Rick Alonso. Skill helps build credibility. Relationships help that credibility move. The strongest professional position is the combination of competence, access, and trusted visibility. Until the next brief, may wisdom guide your decisions, may faith steady your steps, and may peace be with you.